In partnership with Singing Hills Memorial Park, welcome to Journey Home Radio, discussing the most important topics around life's most sacred goodbye. This is Journey Home Radio.
Welcome to Journey Home Radio, where farewell meets forever. I'm Thesa.
And I'm Iris. Thank you for tuning in and joining us today on our very first episode with real conversations about death, pre-planning for your end-of-life journey.
And I just want to give a special thanks to our supporters and to our listeners. We hope and pray that our message blesses you today. We hope to be a light to a subject that people rarely talk about.
That's correct. I'm super blessed to be here and feel truly grateful. Thank you, Thesa, for being here with me today.
Of course. I'm excited to be here with you, Iris. I'm excited about this show. We're going to talk about something that people are scared to talk about, and it's pre-planning. And we want to help families be comfortable about talking about it. We're excited because we're going to have some experts that will come on and give their insight and give us the tools or about all the essential needs for pre-planning and also to protect your loved ones' assets and financially.
Yes. And Thesa, why don't you give us a little background about how you started out in the industry?
Of course. So I have background in social work. I used to work in the social field with children, and I became a stay-at-home mom and for 20 years. And I needed to go back into the workforce. So I looked for jobs, and I wanted to do something that I could help people. And I almost felt like it was a calling because I know a lot of people don't like to talk about death.
Right.
And they feel uneasy, especially my kids. They just don't want to talk about it. They still don't want to talk about it. But so I applied at a funeral home and as a funeral director, and I actually met Iris there, and Iris trained me. But I feel blessed doing it. I feel like I'm doing God's work, working at a cemetery and guiding families through the most difficult time. But I love my job. I never saw myself working at a cemetery. You would have asked me 20 years ago, but I actually really love my job. It is very rewarding to me and actually a very spiritual experience. And I know that Iris can identify with that.
Yeah, I also came from a previous career. I was in hospitality for 7 years, and I was at a point in my life where I wanted to find a job that gave me more satisfaction in my humanitarian beliefs. And I actually was paying respects to a friend that I had lost when I was in high school. And I was at the cemetery where she's laid to rest. And I was sitting there, and I just remember how peaceful and how beautiful it was. And I thought to myself, I want to work somewhere like here. And I think I went that night online, and I looked, and I applied at a cemetery combo location, mortuary in Bonita. And I became a funeral service director, and I've helped over hundreds of families, probably close to thousands at this point. I've been in this business now for about eight and a half years, and got to meet so many wonderful people. I met you, Thesa. But I think the most important thing about this job is that we are here to create memories of closure. And a huge part now is educating our community and letting them know why it's important to pre-plan, why to take care of those needs now instead of letting your family have to make those decisions during the hardest time of their life.
Absolutely. And Iris is so good at what she does, and I feel very blessed to be on this journey with her. She actually trained me where we used to work, and I wanted to spread my wings, and a friend told me there was an opening at Singing Hills about 5 years ago, and I decided to go for the interview. They hired me, and a year later, I told Iris there was an opening, and she applied, and here we are today.
Yeah, thank you, Tessa. And for those of you just tuning in, this is Journey Home Radio, and I'm Iris. And this is our first show. For more information, feel free to reach out to us at singinghillsmemorialpark.com, or you're free to give us a call at 619-444-3000. I honestly, one of my favorite things about Singing Hills is just as soon as you drive in, there's so much beautiful scenery. We have beautiful trees. We have a beautiful water fountain. Our property is on over 100 acres. We have a natural preserve, which is the hillside that is behind our office. So when you're standing out in the cemetery, you see all of the beautiful granite hills, and it's just so serene and peaceful. I always felt at home, like when I'm there. And
Yes.
I know, Tessa, you there's certain parts of the park that you love as well, and certain aspects of Singing Hills. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Of course. Every time I drive through the gates, I have a sense of peace too. I love the wind chimes that we have there. And my kids call the park magical. Something interesting that happens when I'm doing a service is when the wind blows, the wind chimes go crazy, actually.
They do. And it is such a beautiful moment. There's been times where I've been standing out at a graveside service and everybody's quiet, and then that wind just picks up and you hear everything going off, and it's almost unreal. It feels very, like you said, magical. There's something very special about the ground in that sacred space.
And from what I understand, Singing Hills got its name for the wind that blows through those hills.
Right.
Too.
Right. Yes, that is a story that we've heard. And also too, there's a lot of families that come out to visit, and they're just out there having picnics and little family get-togethers. You see a lot of people come out and they love to decorate their space around for their loved ones, especially during holidays.
Yes.
I'd say Christmas is a huge one that people come out.
It is. And also Dia de los Muertos.
Yes. We have a lot of really neat events throughout the year, and Dia de los Muertos is a huge one for us. I love seeing all the different marigolds and beautiful flowers that get laid out there, and the families that come out to celebrate that holiday. It's beautiful.
It is. And Iris, let's talk about a little bit about the history of Singing Hills.
Yeah.
How it began. I know that we opened in 1996. It took about 10 years of preparation before they opened its gates. Lots of speed bumps.
Permits and getting approvals from the county. I know we spoke with our cemetery designer, Jack Matthias. He comes from a background of his family were cemeterians, and he started designing the park with the intention of keeping that space natural looking. So when you walk out there, you're going to see flat headstones, which we call memorial markers, and they're all bronze. We have some really beautiful bronze features throughout the park of cougars and coyote, and definitely the deer, and even bronze children playing. It's throughout the different features within our park.
And I know Jack's vision is that he wanted the cemetery to look like a park. He wanted it to look like his backyard. We even have a couple of waterfalls in the park, and a creek also. And that's what draws a lot of families is the sound.
Yes.
Also.
The sound of the water flowing through. But Singing Hills is actually founded by Security National Life. One of the family members of the Quist family had started purchasing cemeteries back in the late 80s, early 90s. And the Quist family came out to California, and they were here in San Diego. They were really drawn to looking for that perfect space to create a different type of memorial park, something that would be non-denominational, regardless of your background or your belief, and just create that welcoming space so anybody that came onto the property felt that serenity.
Yes. And our park is non-denominational. Anybody is welcome to be laid to rest at our park. It's very unique. I wanted to share that I heard a story from Jack. He told us that there was a couple of people that drove onto the property, and it was when we first opened, and they wanted to buy the lot because they wanted to build a house on it. And Jack was like, no, this is a cemetery. But a lot of people say that when they come to meet with us, it really doesn't look like a cemetery. It looks like a park. And they always tell us they go visit other places and they are drawn back to come to be with us.
Right. Even the names in the park, Jack, he picked all the names out, and our main garden that we have is our garden of devotion. That was something that we wanted to kind of instill. It actually abbreviated as God, which is God. And he wanted that area, which is the main part, to integrate everybody. So we don't have a veteran section. We don't have a Catholic section. We don't have a baby section. Everybody, when you go out there, especially during Memorial Day, you see hundreds of flags. We have over 800 veterans laid to rest at our park. And when Singing Hills developed in 1996, at that time, Rosecrans was starting to fill up. So we wanted to honor our veterans, and we had, great promotionals, and we have now over 800 veterans laid to rest in our park. And I think that's very special. We have a great legacy ahead.
We do, and it's beautiful because on Memorial Day, we'll have the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts come out and put flags on all the veterans' memorial markers each year. We'll celebrate and honor our veterans there, and we have lunch with our families. It's really a beautiful time.
Yeah, a very intimate. We get to know our clients and our families that come out to visit throughout the park. Over the years, I'm sure, Thesa, you've gotten close to some of your families, and we've all have those special people on our hearts that we're grateful that have came into our life.
Definitely. Made lots of lifelong friends actually doing what we do at Singing Hills.
And for those of you just tuning in, this is Journey Home Radio, and I'm Iris. This is our first show, and we're going over the benefits of pre-planning. For more information, feel free to reach out to us at singinghillsmemorialpark.com, or you're free to give us a call at 619-444-3000.
So, Iris, let's transition a little bit. Let's talk about pre-planning and why we feel passionate about it and what we want our families to know.
Right. For myself, I'm a single mother, and I've witnessed a lot of parents and families that have lost somebody unexpectedly, and they don't even know where to start. They don't know who to contact first. Some people don't even know the difference between a mortuary, funeral home, cemetery, memorial park. Those are all very different things. I know prior to coming into this industry, I had no knowledge about death care. And I know for myself, I wanted to protect my family, and I actually went to you, Thesa, to help me start my cremation plan and make sure that my family was protected during that time, that they knew what I wanted.
Yes. And I didn't know going into the industry also that you can finance your end-of-life burial space and services. I had no idea. And with my experience with pre-planning, I actually helped my parents pre-plan. My mom called me one day and she's like, "You're in the business. I want to do this." And she says, "But your dad doesn't want to have any part of it." So I flew to Virginia where my parents are, and I helped my mom picked out a funeral home, and my dad is a retired military, and so we went to the military cemetery and pre-planned there too. So we also, talking about my dad, we also help a lot of veterans with pre-planning with the funeral home. A lot of veterans feel that they have everything, but really the military cemeteries provide the burial space, but they don't provide the funeral services. And we do guide families through that process.
Right. Because there's so much paperwork out there and people will send you to different websites, but it is always kind of nice to have somebody to sit down and just explain what those benefits are and what your options are. I think a lot of people don't know that you do have options and you do have people that you can designate to make those decisions. So it's not going to hurt the person or affect that one person that it might be too sensitive for them to manage.
Right, right. And I think there's a myth too, Iris. Like a lot of people think, oh, pre-planning is for old people, but really, I think it's for everyone.
It's for everyone. Hands down, I totally believe that, and I stand by that myself as well. Anybody can pre-plan.
Yes.
At any age.
But I think what stops people is they're scared to talk about death.
Yes.
And I think the most common reason people come in is because they've experienced a death in the family and they don't want to leave that financial and emotional burden on their family. Yeah,
I agree. I think one of the hardest conversations that I've experienced is when I hear a lot of widows and spouses that come in and they said, we talked about this we've been together for 40 years. We talked about this on and off over the last 10 years. And, something happened. They're obviously there for that reason. And they say, I don't know. She told me she wanted cremation. She wanted a casket. Didn't like the idea of being laid to rest underground. Wanted to do above ground. We hear all of that. Mm-hmm. And the last thing anybody wants to do is not fulfill somebody's wishes and their final wishes.
Yes.
So those conversations are important to have.
And along with that, we actually have a wonderful tool that we use on a daily basis and we give to families. It's called a legacy planner because there's so many questions when planning a funeral. Mm-hmm. There's over 150, I heard, probably closer to 100. Right.
20, 30, 50, 200. There's a lot of questions. And it's not just on the cemetery side, on the mortuary side as well. I think the legacy planner is a great resource for anybody to write out their, like if they wanted to have a viewing, if they didn't want to have a celebration of life, if you're really involved with your church, you want them to be involved with your funeral services. And, some people were part of Messianic groups or any of those. If you want to include them in your services, it's good to notate that and have the ability to notify them so that your celebration of life, your funeral, it's all going to be handled and coordinated the way that you want it to be.
Yes, it's a very good guide to have and to just keep with all of your paperwork once you pre-plan, and your loved ones can just open it up, and on top of their grief, it will make it easier for them to navigate. Okay, how do I honor my loved one's wishes?
Right. And even going down to how do you want to design your memorial marker, your headstone? You want to keep it simple. You want it elaborate. You want a photo of yourself on there. You want a photo of your family together. Those are the things that we don't really think about. We don't talk about. And I know one of my favorite things about this job and this profession is designing memorials with couples. And they're both there present. They're both happy. They're both, engaging and filling out, they'll have a special Bible verse or a special saying or even just a simple poem that they want to place on there. And And to me, that's beautiful because that I can give and help guide them and design those everlasting memorials.
Yes. And Iris does such a beautiful job designing headstones.
Yes,
She's an artist,
yes, I am.
and she's very gifted in what she does. And she has a catalog of hundreds of memorials she's designed.
Yes, I've designed quite a few hundred by now at this point. And I love it. I think every single one is unique. I enjoy hearing people's stories about their loved one when they start talking about, mom was a really great cook, or dad was really into fishing, or even one couple they met many years ago. They were both ballroom dancers. So, but yeah, I love that part of our job.
For those of you joining us today, this is Journey Home Radio, and I'm Thesa. This is our first show. You can check us out at singinghillsmemorial.com on our website, or you can call us at 619-444-3000. And that's 619-444-3000. So in the legacy planner and in the back of the book, we have a legacy wheel, and it shows everything that's needed to pre-plan, and the headstone is just one part of it. There's actually several pieces that needs to be completed. It's just lots of moving parts.
It's like a pie. There's
Yes.
different slices of that pie that you have to complete.
And we call this actually a gift of love to our families because you're preparing this. You're putting a lot of thought in pre-planning your for your end of life, and you're leaving this lasting gift for your family. Your forever gift.
Yes, it is your forever gift. And, having that readily available, and it's not only beneficial for yourself to just write everything out, but if anything happens unexpectedly, whoever's going to be handling your end of care needs, they're going to have that as a resource, and they're going to reference it. And there's points in there where you can even write about your own obituary. You can write about your life experiences and achievements. So sometimes people don't think about that either, what you would want people to say about you.
Yes. And it will help your family write your obituary also.
Yeah.
And we offer this complimentary to you. If you're interested, you could contact us on our website.
Yes, you can reach out to us at singinghillsmemorialpark.com. And you can request your free pre-planning legacy planner. And it's a loving plan for what comes next.
And along with requesting a complimentary legacy planner, you can also request a complimentary tour of Singing Hills. We will give you a tour of the park and show you the different gardens where you can be laid to rest for burial or cremation. We have our family advisors waiting for you to help you pre-plan, to make this easy for you.
I've noticed when I've met people the day of losing someone, they'll walk in and you just see the stress on their face, and they don't even know what their mother's maiden name was, or their, where they originally came from, or if dad had a DD-214 hidden somewhere. There's just all those questions that are unanswered. And, there's a huge difference when somebody comes in and they have that legacy planner in their hand, and all those answers have been written down inside that planner. And you see the gift right there when mom and dad, or, your spouse already has that set in stone and already placed. You don't have to question what those decisions, what they would have wanted. It's already written down and it's right there. It's beautiful. I think that's something that as funeral advisors, cemetery advisors, we can help guide you with those questions. So when you come into the park and you come in for your tour, we can sit down and we can start that journey and start writing down those answers to those questions together in that planner.
That's right, Iris. And you'll have that peace of mind for yourself, and you'll also have that peace of mind for your family. And I just want to thank you for joining us today, joining Iris and I. We're excited that we could be here.
Thank you, Thesa. Yeah, our colleagues, Cody and Yvette, they'll be coming in to share what are the differences between planning your funeral and cemetery arrangements. Those are two different components. So they'll be going into a deep dive about those differences next Saturday.
If you have any questions, if you have any comments, and you want to reach out to us, feel free to look at our website, singinghillsmemorial.com, or you can even call us at 619-444-3000. And thank you today. We feel blessed to be here, and we hope that our message blesses you.
Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Journey Home Radio. We look forward to talking with you again next Saturday at noon right here on K-Praise.